and welcome back to another episode of Podcast Assemble, the show where you come for your rambling geeky download. My name's Tommy, and I am delighted, as always, to be joined by my friend and co-host who is across the pond. It is our resident disposable anti-hero of the pod, DL. How are you?
I'm good, dude. Can't
You're
complain.
still good.
Man. Just trying to, do the right thing while doing the wrong thing and being likable. That's like really my main MO as a anti-hero.
I love that for you.
You know,
it fits your roguish nature perfectly.
A little bit of both. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
A little bit of good, a little bit of bad. Which do you want to do?
Yeah.
It's like that light at the end of the Guardians of the Galaxy. But I'm great. It's good to see you on repeat. I think this is the second time we've tried this today. So it's nice to see you.
Don't give the viewers a look behind the curtain, mate. Yeah, don't tell them. Don't let them know.
What, that we've already done 20 minutes of this recording and completely fucked up pressing record? Yeah, good.
Exactly.
We won't tell them that. Shh. We don't know any of this stuff.
No.
Guys, if you didn't get from the lovely resident of the pod, we are talking about Thunderbolts * something today. From the MCU. It's back, baby, apparently. Is it back? Are we saying it's back?
The MCU? I think it takes more than one movie for it to be back.
Well, Phase 5's finished, so let's hold our judgment.
That was the end of Phase 5?
Yeah, if you knew anything that happened in Phase 5.
I don't even remember what Phase 4 is.
What happened in Phase 4?
Which was Phase 4? Is that Infinity War?
I think Moon Knight was in Phase 4. I can't remember. It's a long time ago. There's too many things have happened since then.
There was a lot of bullshit. Frankly. Can't name like 2 good movies.
I think this was a good one. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, this one was all right. It was good. It was like on above average.
It sounds like I enjoyed it more than you did, but that's normal. That's good. How have you been, mate? What's been happening?
I'm good, dude. Just saw a show in Belgium. I was a DJ at the Atomium, which is Belgium's not very noteworthy, but very beautiful. I mean, it is noteworthy, not very known monument.
Yeah, right. Well, we talked about this a minute ago, but I'm going to ask again anyway.
Yeah, I'm trying to be more precise this time.
It's the Eiffel Tower.
It's not the Eiffel Tower. It's like their Eiffel Tower, but it's not the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, and we saw Anima there.
What's different about it?
This is going to be really hard to describe. I think you should just Google. You all know how to use Google. One is a tower. One is kind of like this weird atom-looking thing.
Well, the first time you said it, I thought you said the Anima. So I was like, what? What have you guys been doing at festivals? Like,
no, Anima is a DJ. Anima is a DJ. We saw Anima at the Eiffel Tower.
At the Eiffel Tower? He's changed now. You've moved.
Sorry, at the God damn it, dude. I'm so over this conversation. We went and saw a DJ in front of a monument. It was cool. Moving on.
Yeah,
in Brussels.
That's fair. Speaking of weird places to do things, I was just telling you that we went to Japan this last week. I geeked out hard, man. I think so. Right, I was talking about this today. I feel like there is something about Japan that flips a switch in your brain, and you immediately become like the 10-year-old version of yourself. Like everything's exciting and shiny. Everything that you wouldn't buy on a day-to-day basis, you're like, I'm fucking buying it. So, like, we went to Harry Potter World in Universal Studio, and
I didn't even know they had one of those in Japan.
Right, they do. And Mario World there is the best. Like, it's amazing. We'll talk about that another time. But I bought a wand. Like, who the fuck buys a wand at 30, whatever I am? Nearly 40.
Fucking nerds, dude.
Fucking nerds.
Not cool. Sure, where are you going to put it?
Great question. No idea. It's going to be on one of these shelves that I have full of geek shit. I have to work that out.
In the sex box, yeah.
Yeah, in the sex box. That's what they don't call it.
Yeah.
I bought loads of geeky shit. It's awesome. Had a great time. I think the pièce de résistance of that place, though, is Mario World. Like, I don't know if you have seen pictures of it or seen anything.
I didn't do either of those things.
Really? It's in Osaka, to be fair, so it's...
I was there for 2.5 weeks.
All right. What? Yeah. That's so much time.
Yeah, I didn't do either of them. Well, I just did other shit.
What did you do?
I don't know. I snowboarded.
Okay. So you were there for winter. Yeah. So we were there sort of, it's kind of still spring. So like it was still pretty wet and pretty cold. So we ate more like ramen and stuff than sushi, even though my partner is obsessed with sushi. We ate a lot of ramen and katsu, which is very that kind of still cold but bright outside weather. So weather? I don't know what to talk about anymore. It was good. Had a great time. But like, again, geeked out hard. Bought a very small, very cool Megatron from Transformers. Who would buy that on a regular day? Not me, but I did because something flicked in my brain, like I say, and it's just such a fun place, man. But were you just skiing there, or did you go to like Kyoto and stuff?
No, we did a lot of stuff, but we also skied. Went to Kyoto, went to Osaka, I went to Hiroshima, obviously Tokyo. We did a bunch of stuff. I just I didn't hit the theme parks, but I think I know what you mean though. You get there and it's just, I think it's just like you're back to like a kid level of like curiosity and just like wow factor because it's so different. Yeah, you're just like in a place that's very, very different than anything you've really experienced. So it's like kind of, it takes you back to like a more
optimistic
innocent child. Yeah. Like, yeah, I don't know what to say, but it takes you to a place where you're like, where you're just like less sure of everything because everything's so like, which means like you can be more like genuinely curious. And I don't know. I really like, it's a great place. It's good fun.
I totally agree. Agree.
And I thought that was like very, very different. Then I went, so I'd been to Japan once before I went on that big trip. And then I went to Beijing before I went to Japan the second time for like the 2.5 week trip. And by like day 5 of Beijing, I was like, I'm ready for very, very normal Japan. like meaning like you think Japan's like so different, but it's like comparatively, it's very, very westernized.
Interesting. That's so interesting. So, I think Tokyo certainly, I think by the time we'd been in Tokyo for 4 nights, I was like, I'm kind of over this now. Just being a classic Westerner, like I got a bit over it in terms of like, it felt almost like, I know this isn't the right way of saying it, but it kind of got to that point of being a bit like, this could be any city because it is very, like you say, westernized. But when we went out to like Kyoto and Osaka and all that, I was like, this is what I wanted from Japan. Like it's so different and so, it's just got that heritage to it that just makes it so authentic.
Yeah. And also like I didn't even do any of the like stuff in the countryside, which there's quite a bit. There's one of the blue zones there. You know what those are?
No, what's a blue zone?
It's like where people live to like 115 or some shit.
Yeah, right. Is that
there's one in Greece? Then? There's one in there. I think it's on like a southern island. I'm not sure, but there's one there. Right. There's like 4 or 5 in the world or something, and that's one
epic. Because Italy, I think, is one of them as well. There's a place in Italy too.
There's probably one in Italy, but there's definitely one in Greece.
It's definitely not the high schools in the USA. Wait, what?
No, it's definitely not.
Wow, that was a really weird way to end that conversation. Guys, if you want to stick around here as banter about our weeks, it's not all as dark as that, I promise. Please feel free. There will be time codes in the description, as always, supplied by Mr. Matthew Bliss of mbpod.com. While you're there, please give us a 5-star review. It keeps the lights on. We really need it. Please give us one. We're hoping to evolve this at some point, like I say, into video. We will keep things chugging and make that happen soon to give you a look at our faces, give you new ways to give us 5 stars and thumbs up on YouTube and stuff. We appreciate you. We don't know how algorithms work, so help us out. That'd be great. DL, man, what have you been up to? What's been happening?
I have been, minus the concert, I've been obviously watching Andor because we were talking about it before the pod started.
So I've only watched 1 episode, so help me help you.
Yeah, no, I rewatched the first season.
Right.
Because I was like looking for something to do while I worked, which I didn't have to like fully pay attention to. And, it's really good.
Okay.
Like it's a fucking phenomenal show.
The first season.
It's like one of those shows that like, the first season and so far I'm really enjoying the second, but I'll keep away from that because you haven't seen it. But it's one of those shows where I'm just like, it's not just like because it's Star Wars. Like it's the plot and the characters and like the way they interact and have a crescendo at like the right time for all of them, while also doing cool Star Wars stuff, but not like in stuff that's like completely different from what's been done before.
Yeah,
is just like pinnacle, dude. Like it's I think it's one of the better shows I've seen, that first season of Andor, and like name another show in the last 5 years, and it's up there with it. I would honestly believe that. Up there with The Last of Us. Season.
Right.
Up there with what else? What else has been good?
Good TV shows.
Fallout.
Other things we've watched. Yeah. Things like
Fallout.
Yeah.
Up there with Fallout.
Severance.
Very different. Hard to say. Totally Severance is so meta.
Yes.
That you kind of almost put it in a different category, but I would say it's of the same caliber. It might not attract the same audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, probably. I don't know. Maybe
there's
not.
An overlap. There's an overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an overlap, but that's a mystery box.
Where the overlap.
Yeah.
Going back to your original point, though, I think it is really good in spite of it being Star Wars. I feel like everything Star Wars is garbage at the moment. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm obviously putting a big, broad brushstroke on there, but I can't remember the last thing I watched that was Star Wars that I was like, this is so good. Like Ahsoka, boring. Mandalorian got boring. You know what I mean? Like all these little things, and like they're supposed to be adding to the world, but I didn't feel like they were. And then this is like a real show. It's like a real thing and it just deals with more interesting topics.
Yeah, and I think like the reality is like they've done the prequel to death in Star Wars. So doing another prequel is like probably not helpful to like anybody's initial appetite to liking the show.
Totally.
And I guess despite that, they've managed to like make something extremely compelling. And I think it's because they tap into like, I don't know, just like some really interesting energy around like what does it mean to actually like rebel against something in like really gray areas. And Star Wars just doesn't do gray.
Nah, not well anyway.
And this is like, they never have done gray. It's literally been binary. Like the entire, like dark side, light side, like, and like, yeah, you can be drawn. And like, maybe there's a couple moments in Return of the Jedi where you get a bit of like gray, like where he uses his hate to like take over. And then, but like mostly it's not that kind of show or movie. And they've really done something. One thing I'm curious, and it's not a spoiler because I'm like early on in the second season. I'm curious if they're gonna bring in Force users into this, and I don't think that they clearly do not need to.
They don't need to,
but it would almost be like a mega accomplishment if they were able to do that and still maintain the feel of, because it's almost like harder. It's like a challenge. Like, can you show them what this should actually feel like when there's a Force user involved? Not like, or would it ruin the like? I think it's a challenge for the showrunner. I wonder if they do it because it's kind of hard to do the entire rebellion without bringing up one Force user.
Even Leia, who's like, not technically a Force user in it, but like technically is. So in the first, was it this show where in the first season they had the guy who pretended to be a Jedi, but he was actually hoaxing everyone? Was that Andor?
No, that was Mando, I think.
All right, okay, because I mean, like that was quite an interesting way of doing it, where it was like. So
kind of funny, yeah,
exactly, and it but like it played on your expectations of those things, and I wonder if they could use something like that, Ahsoka like that, to make it just maybe not quite as on the nose as Light and Dark and Force users.
I mean, Ahsoka is the one that you would think would show up in this. Frankly.
Maybe
it's the same period.
Oh, what's his name? Darth Maul, because doesn't he become like a crime lord or some shit? Like he goes underground after he has his legs chopped off.
I guess Darth Maul's kind of like comedy because he dies like 25 times.
He does die a lot, yeah.
And I just don't know if like I think it's just such a vibe. Like it's like this guy, but like no, seriously, like to me it's comical. Like whenever he shows up, I'm like, he's a cool character. I get it, but you've killed him like 20 times and he's come back 20 times.
He should have been cast by Sean Bean. Yeah.
This is literally like a skit now. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
It feels like a Monty Python skit. Like
I've got
I'm back. Like so I would prefer like a an Ahsoka or something, but
great.
Who's kind of been underserviced by the canon.
So you would recommend this 10 out of 10 show?
Yeah, I don't know if it's 10. There's very few things that are 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it's very good though. It's up there. I think I saw a thing that tracked.
It's between 9 and 10. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a thing that tracked the first season's episodes, and like I don't think there's one that's under like 9.4 on IMDb. So like it's renowned.
It's not just the writing; it's also the acting. It's like there's
totally,
like literally there's not a bad performance.
Agreed.
They're all fucking good.
There's an honestness to it as well, you know. Like I feel like they all are really living those roles.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I watched that. How about you?
I watched. I actually watched another Disney thing. I was watching the end of Daredevil Born Again, which, for anyone who doesn't know, is a continuation, quasi reboot of the Netflix Daredevil show. It's got a lot of the same characters. I really enjoyed it. I really like that world. I really like the main guy. Charlie Cox is awesome. This first season comes to a bit of a weirdly abrupt end. It just sort of finishes. And I was like, try to put the next episode on. And it was like, nah, that's the end of the season. I was like, all right, cool. But I think that's because they split the run into 2 seasons. Look, aesthetically, it's got a bit of a strange vibe. And I just couldn't put my finger on like, why, or everything's just a bit too bright. You remember that I don't think you watched Daredevil, but I'm sure you've seen clips of it where I
watched the first half of a season. Yeah,
right. It's dark, everything's in a corridor, everything's brutal. It kept the brutality, but in this, like, it's not that. It's different. It focuses more on Matt And I think one of the things that a friend of the show, Juan from the Line podcast, mentioned was that it's no longer just in Hell's Kitchen. It's now like all of New York. So they're trying to give it a bit of a different perspective, which, yeah, I kind of liked it. It was different. I'm not going to recommend this to people unless you like the MCU and you specifically like Daredevil. I do. I love all this. If you do like that stuff, fucking go away and watch it. It's class. I really enjoyed it. But I think if you've not seen the original stuff or you're not a big MCU person, it's probably not for you, to be honest with you. Like, it's pretty specific and niche. Good show, though.
But is it good? Like the people could go watch Iron Man and it was good. Is it like everyone keeps qualifying the MCU shit? It's like, no, just like, is it good?
Yes, in a Disney way.
Sounds like a no.
So, yeah, right. So
it sounds like a fucking no, dude. Like, let's be honest. Right. Like, if I was like, Star Wars is good in a Disney way, you'd be like, that's fucking bad.
Well, that's The Mandalorian. So, like, if you think about it like that, like, I think Andor is good despite of Disney. This is good in a Disney way. So, like, it keeps the brutality of the original show. So when he has fight scenes, like, there's a bit when he jumps on a guy's legs and breaks them backwards. It's grit.
Owie.
It's, yeah, right. My face is like, oh, when it happened. I can't watch people's legs getting broken. It's something that I physically can't do. But at the same time, it's a little bit overacted. And when you have scenes where there's people talking, it's a bit too shiny and bright and too nicely created. So, yes, I would yeah, it's good. Okay, fine, I recommend it. But at the same time,
I just wanted you to get off the fence, bud. Looks like you're gonna split your pants there. I needed you to, get over the hump.
Do you take my recommendation / non-recommendation? Like, what did you take from that?
I probably won't watch it.
That's
just because I have so much other shit going on. Like, Andor.
There's a lot happening right now. There is a lot happening right now.
I also need to watch Black Lotus.
Did you get to that yet?
There's a big list. No, there's a big list for me.
Have you got anything else you've been watching?
I started watching. There's a bunch of stuff. I put on. Do you know not Burt Kreischer? What's the other guy that's in the podcast with him?
What podcast?
Bald guy, comedian.
Bill Burr?
No.
Just bald guys. Ross Kemp.
Anyway, the show is called Bad Thoughts. It's this guy's like all these comedians are now getting shows. I don't know if you've seen Tires.
Yep. Yeah. We
really
talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, really good. This is like his version of that, and I watched like the first one. It was pretty fucking funny. It's just like a skit-based show.
Right.
So that was cool. I'd recommend it if you're like looking for some like 90s, early 2000s level comedy. Like there's definitely no like it's one of those things where it's like, oh, this used to just get approved, and the last 10 years, like this stuff hasn't. Now they're getting it back. Like it seems like Netflix has kind of realized, oh, we should probably tap into that.
Well, there's a niche there for them.
I don't even know if it's a niche. I think it's like pretty broad. Like, American Pie was a pretty successful franchise. Like,
true,
and that's all it is. Like, it's shit like that.
But you actually inspired me because you were talking about the comedy show you watched a couple of weeks ago, and I've totally forgotten the American dude's name. He was Fat Gay Republican. That's all I remember you saying about him.
Oh my God, he is Fat Gay Republican.
We watched
Tony,
that one.
Yeah.
But off the back of that, we went and watched Brett Goldstein's stand-up. So do you know, you've seen Ted Lasso, right?
I have, yeah.
So he's the Roy Kent character, the one who's always angry. So no way.
Is he a stand-up guy?
He's doing stand-up, let's put it that way. And it was really interesting because I didn't know what to expect at all. Like, I don't know what his real life character's like. I just know him as this angry guy from
he's a writer
Ted Lasso.
For that show.
Yeah, he is. And he does a bunch of other stuff too. It's interesting because it starts off like kind of tame and it's a little bit like dad joke funny, but then it gets it has its like little dark moments and you're like, there is a good comedian in there. So, like, I would recommend that totally. Like, I think it's a bit of a slow build, like I say. You take a little bit of time to get to it, if you know what I mean. Get to the actual dark stuff. But when you get those little flashes, it's good. I liked it. He's funny, man. He's funny. But it's very British humor as well.
Yeah, he is British, right?
Yeah, super
British.
British.
Yeah. What did you think about Tim Dillon?
He was all right.
I'm always wondering how people respond to this guy. He's so crazy.
It was different. It was just different. It was a lot of like humor that doesn't necessarily resonate to my Britishness / Aussiness. I was like, not all of it worked for me, but I think that's just because I didn't get some of the references. But like, I can see it's funny.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. No, I mean, it is pretty politically referenced, that special.
And a lot of it's about Trump and stuff as well. And knowing him personally, it was like, it was good.
I don't know if he knows him. I don't think he knows him. Maybe he's met him.
Not Trump. RFK.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When he does the voice.
Yeah.
I was dying.
I know you were. Yeah.
they're poisoning the kids.
That's good. That's good. You should do the whole episode like that.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a good one. I enjoyed it. I didn't get all the stuff, so I'm not that deeply ingrained in the US politics, but it was pretty funny when I got
he's
there.
pretty political.
Yeah, I liked it.
Well, he's just like the biggest like anti-CIA, anti-military Republican.
Yeah.
So like whenever something happens, he always goes to like, she's a spook. Like it's a big CIA psyop, and it's just his rants are so fucking funny. Like he just goes like down into the depths of the rabbit holes, and it's just like really hilarious.
Brilliant. I'll have to check out more of his stuff. Guys, if there's anything we haven't talked about or you recommend, feel free to hit us up. You can find us at Podcast Assemble on Instagram or thepodcastassemble@gmail.com. Send us memes, send us news, send us reviews. We love it when you do. More coming on that front soon. DL, do you want to preface our main topic this week?
It's the main topic theme.
Our main topic, what is it called? The Thunderbolts?
Asterisk.
Asterisk Thunderbolts?
The Thunderbolts asterisk. Because then it becomes there's a thing. People have seen it by now.
I didn't realize that's what that was for.
Yeah,
I saw the movie.
Yeah, preface this new thing.
Yeah, so we're basically going back to the Bucky Barnes, the Florence Pugh. What's her name? Not the Black Widow, but the
Yelena Belova.
But does she have a name?
Yelena Belova. That's her name. Oh, you mean a superhero name? I don't
like
think
a superhero name.
New Black Widow.
New Black Widow.
New Widow.
Black Widow 2.0. More bootylicious this time. Yelena Belova, Bucky Barnes. We've got Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. We also have John Walker, who played like poor man's Captain America in that random show from like,
U.S. agent, baby,
5 years ago. And of course, I'm missing one really important one, and I can't remember what's his name. David Harbour as Alexei.
Well, there's Red Guardian, David Harbour.
Yeah, Red Guardian, Alexei Shostakov.
Lewis Pullman as Bob Reynolds, the Sentry. There's a lot of action stars in this. There's a lot of people.
Lewis Pullman's barely a star, but we'll give it to him.
He's in this. I liked him. It's from Drake Schreier. I don't know if you know him. He was one of the co-producers on Beef. Apparently, he's in talks to do the Marvel's X-Men upcoming reboot thing, and which I really like because this is a good ensemble movie, and I feel like he gets how to make them work. But before we get there, do you have a stupid plot summary?
Yeah, this one's not great. The new Captain America, as it should be. That's my first one. Like this, that's what this is really. Like there was a Captain America movie,
but they're all super soldiers. So
I didn't see it, and this is like the closest thing that tapped into the feeling of a Captain America movie.
Okay,
I would say for me, and then it's jockeying on my non-published idea, aka the way they did some like that dream shit. I'm kind of pissed because I was like, oh, that's something I'm trying to do in my book. Inception. So now everyone's gonna be like, oh, you jocked that random shitty Marvel movie. It's like, no. So just got to do it better.
Yeah, you got to up your game there, man. You got to up your game. Mine are very simply either trauma bonding the movie or another one, which is, by this point, if you live in New York in this universe, insurance policies against violent death are surely wild. Like, surely no one is taking out that policy for people in New York.
If you live in New York at this point, just move.
There is
the
no
rent's high. Everyone's just dying all the time. Your houses are just getting decimated.
Surely by this point, rent's like plummeted. Like,
yeah, I have a better dumb summary.
Okay, go on.
The Breakfast Club Marvel edition.
Love
essentially.
It. There it is. I knew we'd get there eventually. You smashed that. Good work. Okay. So, what happens in this thing, DL? What's the plot summary of this?
I don't even know where we're set timeline wise now, so I'm not even going to try and say like what this is in relation to the other things that have happened in Marvel. You got to figure that out yourself.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
But we're basically following, Florence Pugh's character, who I'm going to always forget her name, so let me pull this up again. Yelena.
Just call her Pew Pew.
Pew Pew. We're following Pew Pew, and she is basically in a bit of a depressive spiral about the work she's having to do. Which is basically a bunch of CIA kind of black op dark shit for this Valentina. You remember Valentina?
Valentina.
Meanwhile, we've got Bucky Barnes, who has a dark, mysterious, not
now.
Really mysterious pap. He's now an elected official. So war crimes to elected official. It's like, I guess it's probably not that
Is
far
that
off.
right?
If you've
Russian
seen
spies?
some of the people that we've elected,
Yeah, that's
I'm
very
sure
true.
there's a few that have war crimes associated, or like maybe not convicted, but probably.
Maybe not like in there actually doing the war crimes, but certainly
Maybe not
ordering
like
them.
with the grenade launcher
Yeah.
shooting the trucks, but you know,
Certainly ordering them.
this is fiction, so we can extrapolate a bit. And we follow them in like a confluence of events that bring them together to do one last job for Valentina that ends up, being a bit not what they expected.
A bit hot around the collar, some might say.
Yeah, a bit not good. So I don't want to spoil it, but yeah.
Well, I mean, like, I think it's all in the trailer, but in fact, the whole film's been spoiled in the trailers and
Okay,
online
sweet.
by now.
Then
So
in that case, they're all sent to like go do this one mission where they're actually just sent
trying to kill
be
each other.
incinerated.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's under investigation and she's trying to get rid of the evidence.
My favorite part of that whole thing, and long story short, they wake up the Sentry, he becomes a threat, etc., etc.
Yeah.
My favorite bit about that is the one character who had absolutely zero to add to this film, who was quotation marks Taskmaster, just gets shot in the first like 5. I don't know if that's a spoiler, but she dies like immediately. Like there's like you see her face once, and then she's just shot.
Barely.
And
Yeah.
I love how they're just like, let's take the trash out.
Well, I mean, it was because they knew they fucked that character up. Yeah, they were like, they're like, I guess we'll just get rid of her.
Well, let's level set then, because I know when we talked about this at the beginning of the year, I was pretty hyped about this film. And you quite rightly said it's just a bunch of people with the super soldier serum. Like, what the fuck is this even going to be? So, like, did you like this? What did you take from it? Like, what was your...
It was better than I thought it was going to be.
Right.
Yeah, it was like, I guess it was like an above average Marvel movie by phase, whatever standards. Like
5.
this phase that we've been in. Whatever phase we've been in that's been shit for so long. It was a better Marvel movie, but if you compared this to like some of the best, it'd be probably okay, pretty good. It would still be above average, I'd say. I really like Bucky Barnes in it.
I do too.
I think he's like come
Yelena.
into his like role, yeah. And look, Florence Pugh is a really good actress. So like the scenes where she was like emotive, like they were good.
Yeah,
the cast of characters, like the dynamic was well done. I'm just like not really. I don't know. There's still something about these movies that's so formula driven. Even the ones when they do it right, where it's like I just know what's going to happen. That like I just get bored. I get bored literally 70 minutes in at the latest every time, and there's still like an hour left.
we'll save the big twist of the end for a little bit of spoilers at the end. But like, did you see that coming with that character? The main twist.
Yeah, clearly.
Like he was obviously he was always going to be the bad guy, like clearly. But
clearly
like, that twist that happened specifically with the shadow stuff that I'm pretty sure is now in the
I mean, it was like, I didn't know, I couldn't have predicted exactly how it would go down, but they kept like saying shit like he's unpredictable and like he has mental illness, he's addicted to drugs. Like they were laying it on pretty fucking hard in the beginning, and then there was literally a picture of it in the beginning.
Was
so
that? I
you
didn't notice that.
Yeah, like when they uncover like when he's like been dislodged, there's like papers on the floor, and there's like a picture of like the black silhouette.
Isn't that just the truth? The white version's the good one, and the black one's the bad one.
Yeah, it was pretty clearly.
Please don't clip that.
Like, okay,
put it on the internet.
This is going to take a dark turn. Now, did I know it was going to be like an Alice in Wonderland style thing? I don't know, but
right, and I think that's a really great comparison. I think just taking a step back before we get to that character before, but I really liked seeing these characters on screen. I felt like they were a little bit lost in this universe. This sort of gave them a bit of purpose, and it sort of like mirrored like Yelena's path through this film. Her arc was pretty much like at the beginning, she's pretty much depressed and she doesn't see anywhere to go, and she eventually finds sort of like a family through this team. And I look, Marvel kind of does it best when they get like a group of unappealing, let's call them anti-heroes or whatever, and they crash it together. Look at Guardians of the Galaxy, perfect example. If the chemistry's there, which it is in this, the chemistry's right, the acting's good, it's going to be a hit, man. You know what I mean? Like it's Marvel. I feel like at this point, when they get that and they get it right, they get it really right. And I genuinely really enjoyed this film.
Yeah, I just think it's too long.
You think it's too long? Okay. All right.
They're all too long. They all are like 40 to 30 minutes too long. Because I've known what's going to happen. Either this, they need to be shorter or less predictable.
Okay.
That's my feedback, because I can't know where your movie's going to go 45 minutes in and then watch another freaking hour and a half. Like it's just too much. I'm like, I know where this is going. And even if I enjoy parts of it, like I'm not, my expectations haven't been like, how do you say, like manipulated,
Right?
Like in an effective way. Like,
Yeah, right.
like when you're reading a book and like you're led one way and it's the other, like there's never any of that with Marvel anymore. It's all fucking so predictable, even when it's done well.
Yeah, I guess in this one, it's more supposed to be focused on the relationships rather than necessarily, manipulating you to think it's going to go a different way. I feel like these movies they follow a formula. They all create in a specific way, and they all follow, like I say, a pattern or a formula. And this one, it tries to focus more just on the character building and the arcs they're going on, and it worked for me.
Every story should be focused on character. I don't think we should give Marvel a like high five for like focusing on character. Now they did do that well here. Every story should also like weave your viewers' expectations. Like unless there's certain stories that are like meant to be predictable, sure, but I guess my point is that's not the level of predictability I feel here. I feel like it's so formula driven that I know where the plot is going.
Okay,
and I think that like even like it is. I'm being harsh on it. It was much better than the other stuff that's been out because of the characters and because of
you didn't watch Captain America and it shows
because of the acting, like for sure. But I guess my point is like if this is the best they've got, like I don't know, like it's like okay, it's okay. It's like this is the best they've got. Like
I think this is a smaller scale movie to cap off the end of this phase and then kind of go. We do like that. We're done with that phase. We're going to sort of limit the amount of stuff we're releasing now. It's time to really double down on what works. And I think you'll find there's probably an uptake in, how good the films are from here.
I would say like if this wasn't the best movie of the last like 8 that I'd watched, like I'd probably be higher on it. Meaning like if there was a bunch of movies of this quality that I'd seen before this of different characters and then they were throwing these characters together, I'd almost be higher on it. But because I've had to put up with so much stuff, I guess like the momentum of the MCU used to like drive it forward.
Totally.
And it's come to a complete stop. And now I'm like, oh, this is a pretty good movie. But like there's no momentum, nothing built around the characters that are separate to this where I'm like predicting where these characters will interact with the other ones. So I just get a lot less out of it, frankly.
Yeah. Well, here's a list of films from Phase 5. So you have mixed bag. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 3, The Marvels, Deadpool, Wolverine, Captain America: Brave New World, Thunderbolts. It's almost like it goes terrible movie, good movie, terrible movie, good movie, terrible movie, good movie. In fact, it literally does that. And for me, like if you let's put this up against all of those. This is, I don't know, like did you like Deadpool and Wolverine?
Look, those are good. Those are good movies. Deadpool and Wolverine. This is an okay, pretty good movie. Obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy is a good movie. They have no connection to each other.
This is true.
This is not the MCU. This is not the MCU we've known. Like they're not adding to each other's mythos. Like they're completely isolated, good movies, and that's fine. But like, I'm not going to watch 25 movies if there's no like exponential gain from it. And frankly, I haven't. Yeah. I've only watched those 3 that you named.
Yeah. Let's hold fire till we get to spoilers, because there's one bit in a post-credit scene which may start to bring things together a little bit. Who knows?
Okay.
I guess look, if we bring it back to things that actually worked, I'll tell you what worked for me was like the practical stuff in this, because I think for all of those movies I just mentioned, like I don't remember there being a good practical scene in them. Full stop. It's all CGI bollocks. So the fact that this, like it used a car flip, a real car. It was almost like the Dark Knight.
No, that was cool. All those scenes were awesome.
All the stuff that wasn't CGI was great in this, and the CGI wasn't bad in this. Like it was minimal, and I just liked that they didn't just go fuck it, let's fix it in post. Do you know what I mean? Like it was, it was chaos. It was practical. Yeah, I mean the end was a little bit that way. It wasn't too much though. I felt like they did some
CGI.
There was
the beginning. I agree. The first hour and a half of this movie, like I enjoyed a lot. It was like
at least it wasn't sky beams.
I mean, it wasn't far from sky beams. It was like dark sky spreading. Look, I agree. That scene where like Bucky comes in, Terminator-esque, awesome,
so good, so good. It's interesting you think that this is just way too long, because I didn't think the pacing was bad for me. I thought for me, I felt like in terms of like the structure of a movie, and I get where you're coming from. Like the final third of this, it does fall into that predictable elements of it. But the way they build to this and the way they get across that hump, like there's a beautiful moment where David Harbour and Yelena have like a heart-to-heart moment, and it's a turning point.
Moment,
and they decide to be the good guys or whatever they say, and it builds nicely, and it makes sense how they build to those moments. But like, I guess if you were to cut it down, you'd lose some of that.
I don't think so. I think there's enough fat. You could definitely still include that scene. I don't know, man. I think that there's, maybe it's just me, but like there's a bit more of a formula to these movies that like I don't.
Yeah.
And there's like, I get it. There's always going to be some like peak fight scene, but maybe that's my point. Like, does there need to be some big epic New York scene where all is lost every time? Like, you just need to like, if that is the case, like you need to make it fresh somehow.
Yeah.
Because I get into this place as a viewer now where I'm like, okay, cue the next 30 minutes of, I don't have to really watch. I know what happens.
Yeah.
And I'm just not, I don't enjoy it. Like I enjoyed parts of it where it was like, but also it's because I just knew, I was like, okay, so clearly there's going to be a scene where, Pew Pew has to pump this guy up and say he loves himself because she's also going through this same journey. It was just like from minute one, clearly. And I guess that's okay. I don't think I want to give it like praise for this. I think it's like, okay, this is a pretty good formula driven MCU movie that got the camaraderie right. Yeah. And everything else was nothing new we've not seen before.
Good action movie.
I think the stuff in the car chase and like in the beginning sequence was good.
Yeah, I like that.
It
is tough when they bring in like an unkillable hero, an unkillable like machine.
You know what it is? Yeah, I also just haven't. The villains have just sucked.
Sure. I mean, Valentina is fine. She's a real villain of this.
No, she was interesting.
Yeah, but it's like, that classic thing of like she's doing things which are probably against the Geneva Convention in the, for the greater good and all that. Like she's doing horrible things, and like that's a multi-layered character who I kind of enjoyed.
No, she's interesting for sure. I just mean like old mate. I didn't love the
Sentry Bob. Yeah.
Isn't he Bob in something else?
I don't know.
Isn't he Bob in like Top Gun or something?
No,
I'm pretty sure he's Bob in Top Gun.
Is he?
He's like another.
Look him up quickly in
Top Gun. He's like some weird name. Top Gun Bob. Maverick.
He really suited the name Bob. Well, that character's originally going to be Stephen Yeun, who you would obviously know from Beef or The Walking Dead. So,
Lewis Pullman in Maverick. Top Gun Maverick is Lieutenant Robert Bob Boyd. They literally just chalked this, dude. Anyway.
I thought you called him Lieutenant Bob Void. I was like, oh my God, that's this movie.
No.
Look, I agree with you. And I feel like you're absolutely right. I do think it's a treat when they do get the chemistry of the characters right. These movies really excel when that's good, and when they get some decent non-CGI action, that's when I really enjoy these films. And this was it. And I feel like coming off the back of watching A Brave New Bird, Captain Birdman or whatever it's called, I was ready for a bit of that, and it was nice to like.
New Bird.
It was nice to see that they went back a bit to their roots, and like I get it, the ending. Sure, okay, let's just admit the endings of these films tend to fall on their asses, but those things, it worked for me. It was just a bit of a shame when they brought in like the Superman level threat at the end.
Yeah, you know what it also
they did something
is?
Interesting with it. Sorry to interrupt. They did something interesting with it though. Like he was, he was a narcissist.
It was definitely more unique of a 30 minutes that I was expecting than other 30 minutes. But it was still the 30 minutes I was expecting. It was like done tastefully as it could be done. But there's just never a cost, dude.
Yeah.
There's never nothing is ever at stake in these movies.
Except for the girl who got shot in the head. Immediately.
The person that was literally shot in the head from the get-go because she never got any character. Yeah, like my point is like, duh, she was the one they killed because no one cared.
Yeah,
like
and everyone
like
hated
her. There's never any risk. There's like I compare this to like Andor, and there is just like I have never been more scared of a stormtrooper's laser blast than watching Andor. Something that for years has been called like a complete joke. Their aim is terrible. It's been like an ongoing joke, and then you watch Andor and you're like, holy shit, dude! Like anything can happen.
Yeah,
and you're like how about a TIE fighter noise? How many times have you heard that? When I watch it in Andor, I fear it. I'm like, oh fuck. Like this, like the Empire has teeth. This dude, no one. There was never any risk to anyone in this film.
You've been eating good with these TV shows. I feel like you need to come down a peg and watch some shitty movies.
No,
I'm kidding.
I can't. There's too much good quality. Anyway,
there's too much good quality to spend time on it. Let's do a little bit of tones of themes then. What were your top ones for this?
I mean, found family is literally all over this. Ends justify the means, kind of. Like there's a bit of that because she gets away with it, kind of.
She kind of does. Mental health, depression.
Mental health, depression. Who will guard the guardians, kind of thing.
Yeah, exploitation by mega corporations. There's quite a lot in this, I'd say.
Yeah.
In terms of like thematically, which you know, like it made it more interesting for me, at least I will say. Do you then have a 3 best and or 3 worst?
3 best would be, I really like Bucky.
Yeah,
I really like this actor. You almost wonder, like, what in an ulterior universe, like, what happens if Bucky is Captain America?
So in the comics, he
like,
was.
what if they cast him as that? Yeah. I've heard this. I've heard, maybe that's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
I've heard that he almost got, like, he actually, I still think Chris, which one is it? There's so many Chris's. Evans.
He finally broke. I can't remember Chris's name.
I actually think Chris Evans, you know, he is Captain America, don't get me wrong. But, like, it's an interesting debate, like, what would have happened if you cast for Sebastian Stan. But so apparently he's in a bunch of movies that I haven't seen that I need to see that are all indie films. So that could be a new...
I saw The Apprentice. That's really good.
Yeah, that could be a new thing that we do. You know, Sebastian Stan films we should have seen.
Yeah, I'm good for that. Let's do a little thing. What else you got?
But I really liked him in his Terminator vibes when he just shows up on and it's clear they're jockeying Terminator, but in like a really, really praising way, like an ode to it. They're not they're clearly doing it in a way that's like, we respect it.
They're not aping it.
That was really fun. That was really fun. And I did like the effect and the concept of like the deaths in this at the end, where it was like, that was like subtly done in a way that was like almost more frightening, where it's like, you know, you can have these gruesome deaths, or you can just like, it was like poof. Like that was kind of interesting as a concept.
Yeah.
I definitely like the design of the villain when he was just like this black silhouette. Like that was creepy as all hell. That's my 3 best. I gave you like 4 or 5 actually.
Yeah, you
for how much I didn't like the film.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I just had the fact they made this work. Like you called it out before we even watched it. Like it's a bit of a dumb concept, but like I think they really lent into it, and it worked. Like it's cool. Like good characters, good arcs for me anyway. Again, you like Bucky. I like Yelena in this for obvious reasons, and also the fact that she's a very good actor
as well. Yeah, I love Yelena as well. Don't get me wrong. She actually carries the film. I didn't give her enough credit.
Big time.
Her acting is really good, and she actually has like a lot to dig into.
Yes.
Yeah. That's actually fair.
And I mean, I said the focus on mental health. That's one of mine as well. But like also the focus on the mental health of these like bad people who are doing like CIA psyops on the background, like murdering folks. Like you get to see a bit of the mental toll on them too, which I found pretty fascinating. And it was a little bit different, you know, like it was just gave you a little bit of a different edge to it. I didn't actually have any worsts because I kind of ran out of ideas, but you obviously have some, so hit me up.
My worst, I've kind of already talked to death about, but at a high level, I think it's the fact that there's no stakes.
Yes.
You know,
I mean, 100%.
There's no stakes, and there hasn't been stakes in Marvel in a while because they've been doing a lot of like new characters that have to build their own, and they're not doing traditional like origin stories when they do these usually.
Yeah.
They're still like trying to tie them to other things, and so like no one has their you know, their Simba Mufasa moment. No one has their Batman and the Pearls moment. Like, because they're like skipping, they're doing these intros to new characters, and they're skipping the like stuff that defines them in the, you know, the typical what do you call it? Not coming of age. What do you call a superhero? The first echelon. What is Batman Begins? It is his origin story. They're skipping the origin stories, like kind of. And so I'm just sitting here waiting for someone to like die that matters so that I care.
It's interesting because, like, if you think about watching all origin films we watched over phase 2 and 3, for example, we were all like, oh, so many origin stories, we're sick of them. Whereas now we're like, you're just going to introduce them without giving them an origin story? It's like they literally can't win.
Yeah.
So
I actually really liked origin stories. I never understood that criticism. I think it's just when they do the same origin story every fucking time, and it's always Batman.
Yeah.
It's always Spider-Man.
The same.
Like, the origin story is integral, I think, to like how you define and like understand a character. It's like where the
all
work
their
stuff.
motivations, like you need to know why they're doing these things. Yeah, I mean the last one I really remember was probably Shang-Chi, and I don't remember thinking it was great.
Yeah, it wasn't Shang-Chi. I'd have to rewatch. I don't remember. They were trying to do a lot.
There was a big
with that
dragon.
movie, if I remember.
There was a big dragon. He had some rings.
They were trying to do a lot with that movie. I think there was something there with the dad and like.
Agreed.
I don't think they. Yeah, I don't think they like really focused on that as much as like the cultural element, which is cool as well. So Shang-Chi was interesting, and upon hindsight, like I don't think that was as bad as I thought it was.
There weren't
I'd
many.
be interested to go back and rewatch.
The characters in this, just to play devil's advocate, didn't really get origin stories though. Like I guess Yelena sort of did in Black Widow.
She
through
did.
Black Widow.
Yeah.
What's his name? Captain Agent, whatever his name is, US Agent. He sort of had an origin story in that TV show that no one watched. But Ghosts was bad.
I think that most of them got them. Like,
yeah, but like this is in the way that you're just talking about, like that integrated into other films or shows and stuff, and it's not directly an origin story for them.
To give them credit, I think they did for like 3 of those characters. We know enough about them, right? And their motive. Like we know what is the red, whatever. We know he's
Guardian.
like kind of got a bit of like he's a bit jealous of Captain America.
He's a goofy super soldier.
He didn't. He's like the tier 2. He never got his day. Like we understand that.
He didn't Mother Russia.
Yeah, we understand the other guy, the tier 2 Captain America. It's more no one died. Like, so I got all that, and I'm like, okay,
died.
The only one that didn't have a fucking origin story. Anyway, you get my point. There's no stakes. So that was number 1. Number 2, it's too long, and number 3, it's just even when it's done well, it's still a formula.
It is a formula.
They used to write themselves out of corners, and now I just think they write them. Whoever used to do that is no longer doing the writing.
They don't write them into the corner in the first place. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
Let me ask you a question then, DL. Here's a question. What do you think the current IMDb score is for this?
Probably like high 7s, 7, 8.
Oh, you've been so good at this recently. You're getting better. It's 7.6. Very close.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice. What do you think the Rotten Tomatoes score is?
Rotten Tomatoes would be probably 82.
It's 88. It's pretty high, I think. That's
people are ready for Marvel to be good again. Yeah,
they so are they not? They're like, oh my god, it's half good. Let's give it a good score.
I've been scarred.
Yeah, clearly, Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Finally, Letterboxd, which is always 3.6, but never 3.6.
3.2.
Oh, it's
3.3.
3.7. He was so good.
Wow,
getting a bit of love. Well, now I've got to ask you the penultimate question, which is, as always,
yes.
Is this better or worse than the most average movie we know, which is, for right now, Aquaman 2018? It's a tough one for you. It sounds like you're conflicted a little bit.
Nah, it's better.
Okay.
Here's the deal. I'm just holding Marvel to a higher standard. I know this movie isn't as bad as the other ones we've seen. I'm just like ready for them to just like I'm not giving them praise for this. I'm saying this is the baseline.
Yeah, like, come on, guys.
This is the baseline you need for me to go pay to go see a movie.
Sure.
Like,
I agree.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that, actually. That's a good point. It's a perfect 3.7 movie, but I feel like that is exactly like you say, ground zero. It should be up from there.
Yeah.
But it's better than Aquaman, which is the main thing.
So like great start, great little aftertaste. Like, we've had, you were eating your sushi in Japan, you had your little ginger. Now let's get on to like real stuff that you used to do. Like let's pretend that Phase 5 never existed, and let's, have this be the baseline.
Are you saying Guardians of the Galaxy 3 never existed? I know, I can't abide by that.
No, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is good. But let's be honest.
And so is Deadpool and Wolverine. So half of the movies in this phase were pretty good, but they just weren't connected. Spoiler time?
Yeah, sure.
Big
I don't
time.
remember what
Spoiler
we can say, but
big time. I guess we kind of touched on it before. I guess the main twist of this is that Sentry, who is Bob, has a god complex, which is set off by Valentina. And when she tries to kill him by a bomb explosion in the head, he turns into the final Bob boss, which is the alter ego of Bob.
The
called
final Bob boss. What?
Yeah, it's the Void.
How come he survives again?
Basically, I think it's like a split personality thing. He effectively in the comics, it's very, very similar. So in the comics, it's a manifestation of all of the darkness within him. And I think by killing the light side of him, it effectively releases that. I don't think it actually kills. It's a bit like bit like the Hulk. Think about it that way. So like he's not dead. The dark side keeps him alive, but just takes over. So I quite like that bit where the dark side came out and he was just like I nearly said sucking off people. That's not what he did.
He was poofing them. He was fluffing them. He was poofing them.
He was fluffing all the people.
Floof, floof.
Oh,
floof, floof.
Whatever he did, it wasn't what I said. He was turning them all into shadow, I assume.
Yes. Shadow. Well, he was just like taking them into like some kind of shadow realm. I don't know.
Into the darkness of themselves. The void.
What do they call it in Stranger Things? The Upside Down.
The Upside Down. Sort of a bit like the Upside Down, but they're all taken to like their own personal worst moments. And you know what? This is the best they got in this movie of sort of writing himself into a corner whereby it is an unkillable, unstoppable foe. And then the good guys, quotation marks, had to find a way to beat him. And I quite enjoyed how they did it.
Yeah.
They all got sucked off into the void.
It was actually like the fight was less boring than I thought. Like, you're right. They did do it in a novel way. It was like they were in this like Alice in Wonderland dream state that they had to like escape
Perfect
from.
way of explaining it.
Yeah.
There's more nuance to it than I expected.
Each of them had to face their own fear. I really did like the creepy, and I was, as I said at the start of my thing, like the weird silhouette design was like kind of this thing I had in my mind for like I had this concept for the novel I'm trying to write where it's like this entity is unlocked that is like kind of abstract through space. It's like abstracted through space and time. It's like, no, you can't really define it. And like, that was kind of the image I had. And now I'm like, fuck, do I have to think of something new? Like,
it's gone.
It's like, now I'm aping Thunderbolts asterisk.
Oh no. Oh, that's devastating for you. Sorry about that, mate.
Yeah. But, point being, I did like
good
that.
idea.
I thought that was a cool
clearly
design.
Stolen from years and years of Marvel Comics. Love what you did there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And we all steal from each other, don't we? We just take what we like.
Isn't that the best advertising? Is it the highest form of flattery? The final battle then is inside Bob's mind? Is that what we're saying here? Is that what happens? He has to fight himself and get a hug?
Kind of. Yeah, he needs a big hug.
He needs a hug.
And he needs to love himself, essentially.
Yes.
He needs to stop whooping his own ass.
I think maybe he just needed to be sucked off.
I think he needed to suck off himself.
He needed some self-love. Let's say that.
He needed like a Marilyn Manson rib removal. Did you guys have that in the UK?
No.
There's just like one of the craziest things that just happened all across America.
Go on.
Is that everybody knew that the one fact about Marilyn Manson that you had to know was he removed his own ribs and he could suck his own dick.
That was the first viral story before viral stories.
It was like, like the printing press sent it out to all third graders.
Literally. And I fucking believed it. I was literally the one who believed it.
I mean, isn't it true? I don't know. I assume it to be fact.
I don't know. He looks more like a parody of himself these days. I don't know if you've seen him in the last 3 or 4 years.
To be honest, that's the only fact I knew about him through my entire life. So, or non-fact, whatever.
Wasn't he married to like that really famous burlesque person? I've totally forgotten. He was married to someone super famous. Look, it's a good, interesting exploration of Bob's mental state. It brings mental health issues into the MCU in a way that I don't think it's done before. I liked it. It was good. My question to you, though, is how are they going to keep Sentry in the universe? Because he's like Superman, basically. Like, how do you keep
You'll
that
have
there?
to find some weakness. Yeah, this is like, they wrote themselves into like an interesting place.
Yeah.
And now we'll see if they get out of it. Like, I do think the ending is interesting.
Which one?
I didn't see the post-credit.
Okay.
So you have to explain that to me. But no, just the like bait and switch by Valentina. I think that's good. That was a good idea.
I like that too. So to explain that, what happens is you think Valentina is about to get her ass kicked by the new Avengers. As she then doves them, they step through basically like a top, and behind her a bunch of like cameras and stuff, and she introduced them as the new Avengers. It was cute. I liked how they did it. I don't know how they fucking kept him quiet enough, but it was good.
Yeah. No, and it's just like a good place for her character to go. because it is
Yes.
it is nuanced. Like there was something I liked about Halo, the initial story. This is going to sound random, but it was the fact that they've invented the super soldiers that ended up the Master Chiefs of the world. Like they went through these crazy trials, kidnapped children, and it actually wasn't to beat the Covenant. They just happened to get lucky that they had them when the Covenant showed up,
Right.
and that was like the only thing that helped humanity survive for a while. It was actually to deal with pirates and separatists. And so it's like the actual end goal was like kind of fucked up. Like, why don't you just let these people be separatists?
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to go kidnap children and create super soldiers to deal with this problem. This is a bit of, science gone too far, power, ego, control. But that same thing actually does end up giving them a lifeline. And so it's like, it's a really interesting investigation of like, did the ends justify the means?
Interesting.
Like I think there's a bit of that with this, where it's like, she's going to claim like, I did all this stuff. Yeah, there was all this negative consequences, but look what the result was. And so that's a fun thing to play with. Yeah, that's a fun
I watched.
thing to play with.
Did you watch Death Battle on YouTube? Did you ever see that before?
Death Battle? No.
It's like a Nerd's Heaven. They'll pick two like similar yet completely different characters from like fiction against each other. So I watched one recently, and it was Master Chief versus the Doom guy. So like if you think about how similar they look.
Oh, I have saw a clip of this.
They're so good, man. I'm not going to spoil it for you because it's worth going away and watching because it's a lot of fun. But yeah, I see that. I see that likeness. That's interesting. The two credit scenes then are quite simple. There is one where they're all just being pally in Avengers Tower, whatever you're going to call it now. And that's another thing that happened in this. You found out who bought Tony Stark's original Avengers Tower. It was Valentina. And then they confirmed that the Captain America, whatever his name is in this universe, Anthony Mackie's character, is creating his own Avengers.
What is?
Okay. They're going to be either rivals, or they're going to have to come together to fight another potential threat, which comes in the second post credit, which was something was entering the Earth's atmosphere, and it was the Fantastic Four's rocket. So they actually posed a lot of. So I went to this friend of the show, Joe, and we had a bunch of interesting questions off the back of that at the end. So Fantastic Four movie is coming out. It's coming out soon. It's going to be. I think it's going to be awesome personally. But there's the main bad guy, and that is Galactus. Obviously, he's a big world-eating monster thing, whatever you want to call him, bad guy, the big bad. Now, there's a couple of things that I'm interested about by this scene, because that is set in a different universe. That whole film, like it's in like a now time America, which is stuck in the 1930s, I think, something like that, in terms of aesthetic and in terms of the technology and stuff. The interesting thing I find about that is if they are coming into this universe, the 616 universe, whatever it is, my question is like, are they running away from Galactus? Did they realize that he is too big a threat? Have they been thrown there through a portal of some description? Like, how do they get there and why are they there? And I guess this is obviously all going to start the big, doomsday events and all that stuff that's going to happen in the future. But like, if they're running away, that's that's really some way to introduce the Fantastic Four.
I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I do too.
Like they're coming failed.
That would be super interesting.
I think that's interesting, actually.
Yeah, I'm keen to see that movie. I think they're going to lose.
But we need some build up before it's just like some ultimate villain. Like I need more time with the character. Like that's what I hope they don't rush that.
I think they're going to rush the Robert Downey Jr. one. I think that's coming out soon. That's like next year or some shit. So, they're going to have to rush it. Look, ultimately, I had a good time with this film. It was fun. Do you want to do some trivia truffles to wrap up? I just remembered this week.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do this. Trivia, true, trivia, false TL. The old Soviet parade that the Red Guardian watched on TV was actually a real parade. Is that true or is that false?
Maybe they just edited him in, so it's like true-ish.
It is true. It took place on May 1st, 1981, if you can believe that. And yeah, he was literally like digitally inserted into the footage. I like that a lot. Trivia true, trivia false TL. James Gunn was originally interested in directing the movie of focusing on this team. Is that true or is this false?
I could see that being true. This is very James Gunny. Like the concept of it.
It is true. Kevin Feige claims this possibility after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. And he said you could get it if it did well enough at the box office. But then after the surprise success of Guardians, they quickly pushed into the sequel, and this went into development hell for a long time. So I find that super interesting. Trivia, true trivia, false Theo. Jake Schreier, I think that's how you say it. Schreier? I believe I'm going to say it that way anyway. Compared the team's dysfunction to mismatched team-ups in such films as Reservoir Dogs and Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Is that true or is that false?
Real? Reservoir Dogs. Kind of.
It is true. Yeah, no, it is true. He also cited Toy Story 3 and Ronin from 1998 as influences from the characters. Find that really interesting. Final trivia true. Final trivia false. Deal. The Void Shadow Interiors, which we didn't talk about enough. I found that sort of in his brain bit, one of the most exciting bits of the movies, had visuals which were thematically based on being John Malkovich. True or is that false?
You got to have one false.
It's known as true. He also had Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Everything Everywhere All at Once as inspirations. I can see all those things in this. There's definitely flashes of all this. So I'm pretty happy with that. All right, DL, thank you for sticking with it, guys. We really appreciate you. Give us that 5-star review. Give us all those things. Do you want to wrap up the pod, my guy?
Of course, man. Thank you all for coming by. Please do give us a review. We need it. And a big thank you to Matthew Bliss for mastering this week's episode. If you'd like to be a part of his team, go reach out at business@mbpod.com or go to his website, mbpod.com, to find out more about his services. He's also got a podcast, Coffee with a Podcaster, short thought pieces on topics of podcasting shared over a cup of coffee. I think all this stuff is great content. Have a look, when you're at the gym.
Delightful.
When you're doing what you're doing. Yeah.
Very wholesome.
Until then, we really appreciate you guys, and
thanks for sticking with it.
Enjoy.
Tally ho!
Tally ho!